When it rains, it pours. Delbert Anderson, Navajo master trumpeter and frontman for the Farmington Jazz Ensemble, DDAT, was just awarded a $10,000 fellowship to mentor young musicians. It marks Anderson's 9th endowment in a single year. You're watching the Local News Network, brought to you by Ace Hardware in Farmington and Traeger's. I'm Wendy Graham Settle. Anderson was one of 12 people to be chosen for a Cultural Capital Fellowship presented in January by the First Peoples Fund, a national organization that supports indigenous arts. The grant will help finance one of Anderson's original platforms, known as Build-A-Band, for musicians of all cultures in the Farmington and Shiprock area.
The nature of the program is sort of a crash course in business, and music composition or creativity. Basically, we build a band and try to do a lot of things that our band, DDAT, has done in the past. It's all done by experience, and we get to really work on things. It's a really hands-on process, from social media to marketing to rehearsing, composing music, talking about performing, booking, it's all the above.
Renowned for fusing Dene melodies with jazz, jam, and funk, Anderson's career is on fire. The Shiprock native and father of 5 is experiencing an onslaught of local and national celebrity. PBS premiered his original Dene ballad, United in Song, celebrating the American Dream, during its New Year's Eve celebration in 2021. Anderson was backed by the famous American Pops Orchestra for the performance. With that said, he sounds just as good performing in his studio solo. Last October, Anderson attended WOMAD, the World of Music, Arts and Dance, in South Africa, as a representative of the United States and its indigenous culture. The visit culminated in a Dene and Zulu collaboration, a single called Grandma Song, to be released this spring. It was the magic of jazz improvisation that first caught Anderson's attention as a kid, back in the 4th grade at the Grace B. Wilson Elementary School in Kirtland.
A jazz combo came in, and they started to demonstrate some of these instruments, and the lead player of the combo had a trombone, and I remember at the very end he turned his music stand around and he just started playing, and I remember everyone was getting excited and just in disbelief, because I guess we thought that music had to be present, or a piece of paper had to be in front of you to play. And the guy said, this is called improvisation, and he says you get to do it a lot in jazz bands. So that's what really hooked me to instruments in general. And the very next day I tried to play the trombone, but wasn't able to make a note on it. And so they told me, maybe you should go to the trumpet, maybe you'll like the trumpets. So I went there, and they gave me a trumpet there, and I played a couple notes, and they were just little blurps that came out, and the guy there, he was like, oh, I think you're a trumpet player. So that's kind of how I chose the instrument, and was able to just stick to it through all the education from not K through 12, but 4th all the way to graduating. So
Anderson discovered musical inspiration through his upbringing in New Mexico and as part of the Navajo Nation, and blended it into a broad musical flair that speaks to all cultures. With his latest grant from Cultural Capital, Anderson will mentor a tour this summer for the 3rd Hour, a Farmington High School band of 8 incredible musicians. Stops include Farmington, Gallup, Santa Fe, Cortez, and Ignacio.
The whole reason why we started to look into grants is because we had so many projects evolving. During the pandemic, we took the time to just start to create different projects, getting our music into different art mediums. And a lot of those projects were very heavy in the sense of workload and also collaboration. And, if it's just between the band, of course, we could do a lot of things just out of our own pocket, out of our own will. But when you start bringing in other people, we'd like to respect their time and try to pay them for what they're worth.
To find out more about Delbert Anderson and his band DDAT, visit Farmington Local News. Thank you for watching this edition of the Local News Network. I'm Wendy Graham Settle.